Hello and welcome to Boston Magazine's Taste, presented by Stella Artois. I'm Scott Kearnan, Food and Entertainment Editor here at Boston Magazine, and I am thrilled to present you to our reimagined taste program, which has been adjusted to the needs and realities of 2020. Kicking off tonight, over 60 local restaurants are going to be offering exclusive dining and takeout deals through our Taste Passport program, brought to you by Maker's Mark, which will last through the end of the year. So during that time, I urge you to visit as many local restaurants as you can to support them. And to that point, proceeds from the purchase of your Taste Passport ticket will be donated directly to Mass Restaurants United, which is a coalition formed by independent hospitality professionals to advocate for their industry and plan solutions to survive, repair, and rebuild the restaurant industry in the time of COVID-19. Restaurants have never faced challenges like this before, and so I hope that we all can get out there, eat well, and care for them as they've cared for us so often over the years. Additionally, we are excited to bring you 5 nights of virtual programming tailored for these unprecedented times. So tonight, I will be joined by acclaimed chef Douglass Williams of MIDA, an Italian restaurant in Boston's South End. Recently named by Food and Wine magazine as one of the top 10 best new chefs in America, Douglass has also brought home the 2019 Best Pasta, Best of Boston Award from our publication. And this year, he's been featured as one of the 25 hottest restaurants in the city in our November issue. I am a huge fan. If you've ever met him or dined with him, you are too. And I'm really looking forward to sharing an evening of conversation and cooking. So before we get to that, let's first enjoy a word from our Taste Passport sponsor, Maker's Mark.
It's not easy crafting the distinctive full-flavored taste of Maker's Mark. Getting all our water from our very own limestone-filtered lake. Getting red winter wheat instead of the usual rye from this one family farm. And aging to taste by constantly sipping bourbon. Wait, all this sounds pretty nice, actually. No wonder we've been doing it this way for so long. This season, give our best to yours.
All right, welcome back to Boston Magazine's Taste.
Wonderful.
I am now joined by Douglass Williams, chef owner of MIDA in Boston. Hello, Douglass. How you doing today?
How you doing, Scott? How's everything?
I'm hanging in there. It's always great to see you. Always so fun to chat with you, and I'm really looking forward to cooking with you today. I wish I could be there to taste and smell all the deliciousness, but I know you'll guide us through it very well.
We have a lot of people in the front row. It's like the biggest front row ever. So like everyone's got the eagle eye on this now. So it'll be fun.
Exactly. Well, thank you for taking the time. We really appreciate it. There's obviously so much going on right now. It seems like you've been having a busy last few months. Congratulations on the Food and Wine shout out. That's fantastic.
It's incredible. Lifelong dream, and it's happening now. We gotta make some other dreams come true, and just really excited to be survived and making it and doing well. And we want to make sure we spread that love and make sure we spread the support to the rest of a lot of restaurants to be helped, and everyone deserves some recognition. So this is hopefully going to be a step in the right direction.
Absolutely. And before we jump into the cooking that you have planned for us today, I also just wanted to give you an opportunity to share a little bit about yourself and MIDA. For anyone who hasn't yet had a chance to come by, check out the restaurant, try your food, and meet you. And you're always someone who is so gracious. I know you come out a lot and love to meet people. I don't know what that's like in 2020 if we're able to do that as much. But tell us a little bit about what you do there.
Yeah, well, it's a lot like this. You can't really get too close, but you get good high fives still at least. But MIDA has been open for coming on 4 years in about 2 weeks, which is crazy to think about. And I wanted to do something that was great on that corner, bridging the gap between Roxbury and South End, trying to do so much for the neighborhood, but do world-class food and world-class service in a neighborhood setting. I thought if we can bring that together and actually make that work and make that something that people gravitate towards, we would have a winning combination. And we've done that. We just try to focus on not just Italian food, but Italian sensibilities, how to be simple and how to do things that people could come back for month after month, week after week, and even year after year, and have their favorites and really build on that tradition and build on what we are and build on the neighborhood. And that's what we have done, thankfully. And with the community support and with the city support, and now with the nation's support, we can help others as well, both individuals, but with business related as well.
Absolutely. And tell us, if you would, also about the name MIDA. Where does that come from and what's the meaning to that?
Yeah, so MIDA is actually two words. It means she gives me or he gives me in Italian. And we translated that down. We took the apostrophe out, and I've summed that up to generosity. That is who I am, what I am. And I think, when you walk in the restaurant, that's what you feel when you come in, that energy and that feeling of hospitality and dining and comfortness and conviviality and all those things that we love and hold true, but you just can't put a finger on unless you feel it. And generosity is the pillar of how we price, how we portion, how we greet, and how we say goodbye. And I think that holds true, and it is our pillar that we stand on every day.
I love that. And giving and hospitality, obviously important all times, but certainly as we move into these winter holiday seasons ahead, where I know people will be doing a lot of home cooking. So with that
or home,
in mind,
or in takeout dining. That also
absolutely.
Don't forget that.
Yeah, please.
But for the people who want to cook at home.
That'll probably be my approach. I'm more of a takeout guy than I am a home cook. I always tell people I'm a really good eater. I'm not the best chef. I leave those to the professionals. Tell us about what you're going to be cooking for us and showing us today.
So it's more of technique, right? Everyone, I think, likes to make pasta. Everyone likes to have that scratch feeling. But what I noticed that's missing a lot in a home cook or amateur or an enthusiast at home is that how to get even the best pasta to a restaurant quality with a combination of sauce and timing, technique and approach, and how to know what mistakes are, how to identify them, and how to get better and repeat based off of those mistakes. And I'm here to show you how to cook from pasta that we make at the restaurant to box pasta, and how to make, no matter what, the red sauce and the white sauce a key component of your arsenal when cooking at home, and how to make it as close to restaurant quality as possible. And I'm going to kind of unlock some secrets and how to get close, and maybe even beat me and show off a little bit. So that's what I'm here for today.
I love it. Secrets from the pros. Fantastic.
Yes.
I'm curious, when it comes to these sauces or to anything that you do at MIDA for that matter, do you look to a specific Italian region? I mean, is there an area of the country that you're kind of more influenced by than others, or not?
Yeah, I would say, honestly, Rome has a great combination of everything. And I say Rome because it was a main spot for trade routes. Obviously, the south of Italy played a large part in that, but trade routes got a lot of the spices, which is how they got peppercorns and cardamom and all sorts of things that really influence Roman cuisine, or what's known as today's Roman cuisine. And I love what Rome does. And when we go wintertime, I usually like to go central Italy to north. And when it's summertime here, I try to stay central Italy to south and play off of that. And even Sardinia if necessary. So I love what Roman cuisine does. It's very cosmopolitan. It's very aggressive. It's assertive. And it's got a lot of personality, much like a city. And I love that Roman cuisine. And I got to make my way there at some point in my life. But now with the pandemic, hopefully they'll let us back in at some point before 2025. But I hope we'll get in there. Please.
Fingers crossed.
For all the fingers.
My passport misses me. All right, well, why don't you start by walking us through this red sauce scenario? Show us what you got going on there.
Absolutely. So I'll just give you a little idea of my setup. Just a few quick, simple things that keep everything kind of efficient and fun and enjoyable. I always keep salt and pepper out while I'm cooking, and as well as oil, just to make it a little more efficient. I don't have to go reaching in my cabinets. It's just always there. It makes seasoning. You end up actually seasoning a lot more than you would if it was away in the cabinet, hidden somewhere. I also keep my cheese out ready to go at room temperature when I'm cooking pasta, because cold cheese and hot pasta don't really mix. So I always leave that out to come to temper, if you will. It just makes for a better experience. I always have a little, what we call spoon bane, which is basically just a little plastic container or a big cup that is filled halfway with warm water that I keep my spoons in for stirring pasta. It makes it easier than reaching in your drawer again. You want to try to stay out of your drawers as much as possible while you're cooking. Keeps things neater, tidier, You don't end up doing this whole leave open thing that your wife or partner gets pissed at you about. So that really helps. I also have just a few other quick things. A 2-ounce ladle, super great to have. If you don't know that ladles are measured, look for the side or ask the clerk when you're buying it for a 2-ounce ladle. And these are great to have. They portion out really well, and you can kind of become really accurate. And if you're cooking for yourself, you're cooking for your spouse or friends, and you're doing 2 people or 10 people, it just makes it really easy to level up. I also have some garlic, some chopped garlic here. This is garlic that we make at the restaurant. It's a preserved garlic that we mix with salt, and it turns this sunset orange. And you can buy it from MIDA, but I use it for everything. I'm going to show you how to use this or any crushed garlic and how to use it properly and how to heat it up and use it in the beginning of your sauce, as well as my sauce. This is the amatriciana that we make in the restaurant. It is essentially pepper, pork fat, crushed San Marzano tomatoes. I'm just going to treat this as if it were store-bought pasta sauce. And if you do go out to buy pasta, if you don't know how to make it yourself or don't really have a desire to, you can still cook restaurant quality pasta. And I'm going to show you a few tips on how to do that. So let me just get that together. So with that said, one more thing I always have, actually 2 more things I always have, is a dry towel for grabbing hot pots and grabbing hot things that need to be done, but also a damp towel nearby, nicely folded. It keeps your working area and working surface clean and tight, and you can always just kind of quickly give your hands a little rinse if you need to, instead of jumping back and forth to the sink. And those are some things that I always have when I'm cooking, my mise en place, things that keep cooking fun and the whole process of it very fun. So let's start with the red sauce. So when I start most sauces, I always start with the oil and garlic, right? I always just, even if I have oil and garlic in the sauce currently, or even if I know the sauce is, say, a garlic sauce with crushed San Marzano tomatoes, I always like to refreshen it a bit. So what I'll do is I'll add olive oil directly to the pan, and instead of spreading it around and do this whole swirly whirly thing, I just add it to the center of the pan, about 2 tablespoons, maybe a little less for one portion, okay? And then I add, this is a cold pan, Scott, right? This is no heat on the bottom. I'm not trying to get the oil hot before I add it in. You want to start it from cold so the garlic starts to fizzle and do this little dance in the pan before you even get before it gets away from you. Usually when you add garlic or any sort of onion product to a pan, it's usually like already ripping hot. You only have about 3 seconds to react and like do something and grab something else so it doesn't burn, and then it's already burned and you got to finish it anyway because you don't have any more. It's just it's a disaster. And this allows you to, as you can see, take my time, explain, but also do other things that need to be done. So I'm just going to take about a teaspoon of this, right? Put it right in the center, okay? Just like that. Break it up just a tad, not a bunch. Now, this is still a cold pan, so I'm just going to turn it on high now.
It's a beautiful color.
And now you'll start. It's a beautiful color. It's this deep orange that it turns from white, and we let it sit out for about a week, 7 days, and it literally is this like reverse sunrise. It just goes from white to this really beautiful Valencia orange color. And once you do that, it can last indefinitely in your fridge. Or you can just buy it from us and it'll still last indefinitely. But it's a phenomenal product. It loses all of that bitterness, all of that harsh garlic flavor that we all associate with adding too much garlic. You really cannot add too much garlic with this because it loses all of that, all the parts you don't like about garlic. It doesn't give you heartburn. It's a phenomenal product. And to be able to sell this and use it on every single dish, the focaccia, the only thing we don't use it in is the gelato or the citrus cake, but don't tempt me because I might figure out that. So as you can see, about almost 30 seconds passed by, and it now has just started to react. It almost looks like little fireworks happening in the pan, okay? Right, it's just starting to shimmer off the pan. I'm just gonna break it up.
And folks can buy this from MIDA, you said?
Yes, you can.
Fantastic.
Absolutely, we have it for sale. We make about 60 pounds at a time, 60 pounds of garlic a week. It's absolutely unbelievable. You can buy it from our website. It goes through caviar, and it's just an awesome thing to have. And again, it will never go bad. And as long as you keep a clean spoon and touch it with it, it'll be totally fine. So now you can see the smell. I wish you could smell it, Scott. It's absolutely amazing. If you know what our focaccia smells like, then you know what this garlic smells like. It's just absolutely unreal without any of that awful garlic. So as you can see, this garlic really doesn't burn. It just gets more and more caramelized. It just gets deeper and deeper and deeper, almost as if you're cooking like little chopped peanuts, right? It's just this phenomenal texture. So right now it's fully cooked. It just still looks the same because all we're doing is cooking its sugars and getting all the good properties out. So I'm gonna start there. Okay. Then off the heat, I'm gonna add 4 ounces of your canned tomato sauce or your tomato sauce. This is our matriciana tomato sauce, and that's 2 ladles. So 2 ladles of tomato sauce plus 1 ladle of hot water or pasta water is perfect for 1 person. That's how we do it in the restaurant. Is about 4 ounces of sauce per person per 100 grams of pasta, and that's how we do it. So now I'm going to just bring this quickly up to a boil, right? I don't want to let it boil forever. I just want to bring it to a boil to pasteurize, but also to mend all those flavors together. And then I'm going to tail it off, put it to the back, and now I'm going to go ahead and cook my pasta. I like to either have my sauce ready to go or have my pasta blanched and ready to go. Scott, do you blanch pasta ever?
I rarely use my kitchen, if I'm being honest, which is the worst thing for a food and entertainment editor to say, but I'm just going to be real.
No, actually, well, I support, and if it's your job to eat out, then, we appreciate it. If you ate in, you'd be like just reviewing your kitchen, which probably sucks.
Exactly. I have to, my kitchen's nothing to look at, to be honest. And also my other half is such a good home cook, so I'm very lucky. I get to eat out at restaurants, and then I've got somebody at home.
Your refrigerator is where the action is.
Yeah, okay. I just clean up afterwards, sort of.
Okay, I am not staying past dinner time if I come next time. So I'm just staying for dinner and I'm walking out.
I bring good conversation. That's what I'm here for. Wine and conversation.
I like it. So as far as the pasta goes, so if you had pasta, this is essentially 100 grams of pasta. This is accurately 100 grams of pasta. This is from MIDA. This is our large gauge bucatini for our bucatini amatriciana, which matches this sauce perfectly, which also happens to be my favorite noodle when it comes to non-stuffed pastas. And this is essentially for 1 person. If you want 2 people, we give 2 portions, and that's how we do it. But for right now, I'm just going to blanch this pasta and pretend it was box pasta or di cecco or something dried. You would just essentially just cook it for a longer period of time. But for fresher pasta, this is only going to take about 2 minutes to blanch, and then about 3 minutes to fully cook. But since I'm just going to blanch it, I'm going to show you how to do it. So I salted my water. When you salt your water, don't feel like you're going to piss off the cooking gods. Just go in there, get a couple nice handfuls, not handfuls, but big fingerfuls, and just boop, boop, you're good. Taste it if you want to. Eventually, you'll know how much salt to add, and you'll know it's not a criminal offense to oversalt or undersalt. It just really depends on where you want it to be. So I'm just going to drop this in. Okay. I always keep a little timer on my in my kitchen. You can buy these from anywhere, and it keeps me. Obviously, I'm a little busy and have a lot of things going on, so I need little timers basically everywhere I am to kind of keep me regulated and keep my schedule on track. But essentially, all I'm doing when you add pasta, fresh pasta, extruded pasta, stuff you buy from a restaurant, you always just want to give it a little stir in the beginning. You never want to just add it and let it sit because it will stick together, and that's obviously not good. You don't need to add oil to your pasta water. You don't need to add anything. There's no magic in here. All it is me just knowing when to touch it and when not to touch it. And that's all this really is. But just give it a little stir for the first 30 seconds. It'll kind of create its own little encapsulation of itself, and it won't stick to each other. It'll just kind of bounce off and do this thing. So you don't need to add oil yet. But there is a stage. I have a bowl out. If I'm going to blanch pasta, I have a bowl out, and I have a sheet pan, a clean sheet pan, or a cookie tray or something of the sort. And I also have a little oil, obviously, because I always have my oil out. And when that pasta does come out, I'm just going to add the pasta to the bowl. It's obviously very al dente at this point. I'm going to add a little oil, toss, a couple squiggles to the pan, and put it out. And you can do that before company comes over. You can do that before you get dressed, before you put on your makeup, and before you take a shower to get ready when people are coming by. So you don't have to have boiling water, making a rainforest in your living room or your small apartment. Like, you don't, why do that? It's just annoying. The fun part and the dazzling part is finishing it in the sauce. And that's what everybody wants to see. That's what everybody wants to taste and get in there with, and taste the noodle and all those things you think of when you're thinking eating pasta. But usually when you're making pasta, it's this zoo, and you don't want that. I want to try to take you away from that, and also let you end up with the best pasta you've ever cooked, no matter what the sauce is, no matter what the shape is. It's really about the finishing technique with the dilution that I'm going to show you and complete for you. So, thank goodness I have that.
Good.
I totally forgot that I was even cooking pasta. So funny enough. Okay. So I've got it. I blanched it, right? Add it in. It's okay to get a little water. And I say a little water is actually okay. It actually emulsifies with the oil and creates this nice bond and emulsification. So I'm just going to add a little bit of oil. This is a teaspoon of oil, maybe. Okay, for one portion. Just toss it around. Nothing to it. There's no magic in here. There's no magic dust. All it is a little oil and pasta. Again, this can be box pasta, farfalle, bow tie, wagon wheels. It doesn't matter. You just want to grab it before it's fully cooked, or before it's even al dente, depending on how you like your pasta, right? So all I've done, that's it. So now you can leave this out for a few minutes. If you don't have it till later at night, you don't want to leave this out all day. You want to blanch it before you go to work. Whatever your situation is, or even do it for the next day. Take this, wait till steam stops evaporating, pop it in the fridge, put a little towel over it just to cover it, or plastic wrap once it's cool. And it'll last for up to another 24 hours to 36 hours. And you have this blanched pasta ready to go anytime. All you do is warm some sauce, boom, boom, you're good to go, whether it's for yourself or for someone else. Just makes life really, really simple. All right, so that's that. So that's the bucatini blanched pasta. Any questions, Scott?
Well, first of all, this is fantastic and super helpful, because I think it's great for folks to see how you can work with, prepared pasta, some box pasta, canned sauce, whatever. It's not going to be as good as what you get from MIDA. Let's just be real. Or I'm going to say that. You're too humble to, but I will. But hey, it's all about what you do with it and how you bring it to life, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you really have all the tools, and you have to think again about the sensibility piece, right? We're using what we have. We're using what we can afford, what we know, what our worldview is, what the time we have, all the things that kind of impact our life, whether it be socioeconomic or just desire in general. There's no reason why you can't make a phenomenal bowl of pasta, right? There's no reason why you can't welcome someone into your home, or a new roommate, or someone you're trying to make up with, or whatever it is. You should be able to do that at any stage. And pasta and pizza are probably the ultimate vehicles of any cuisine in the world, in my opinion, to provide not just the hospitality, but the sense of what your heart says, right? And what you want to say without having to say it. Even though I never thought I can talk a lot, like I usually talk with my hands and the product I produce, but pasta is my new voice, right? Pasta and pizza are my new vehicles to extend my appreciation and my sincerity and my generosity. So that's, no matter what you are, who you are, how much you have, you can do that. And I'm going to show you how to do that with this, even the most simplest ingredient of water, and why that differentiates your pasta from my pasta, and how to get that on par.
Fantastic. Real quick, before we move on with the cooking, you mentioned pizza being something that's another food for showing love and welcoming people. You've got some exciting pizza news on the horizon, so I want to make sure we share that with folks. Tell us what's going on. I do.
We have a pizza concept launching. We actually had it just a week before COVID. It was called A Pizza, right? A pizza. However, if you're from New Haven, if you're not from New Haven, if you think that it just says a pizza, however it goes. It is New Haven style pizza, which in my opinion, my humble, but also everything opinion, it is the best style of pizza in the world, and most under-recognized. I think it's time to put it on a pedestal and pay homage to New Haven style pizza. And I want to try to do that with the team over at MIDA. We actually were going to open up a week from opening just before COVID, about March 15th. And obviously that, the whole world shut down. And we were ready to go. We had the ovens hot, everything is launched, and we just didn't. But we still have it ready to go once basketball games and hockey games come back. And we're looking at some other spaces and how to grow that. But a pizza is going to be super cool, and 20-inch pie. I can't even make my arms 20 inches around. It is massive, and it's only going to be $20. And I think that's how it should be. It should be for the blue collar, but also, again, world-class service and world-class product done in a neighborhood setting, but also a very under feel. Like, you should be able to just approach it at any point, no matter if you're wearing a cocktail dress or if you're wearing your work clothes. I should think it should be, that's how pizza should be.
Absolutely. And it's going to be located, we should say for folks, inside Hub Hall, correct?
Absolutely. Yes. But we'll also be able to do delivery and get it all out through the rest of the city.
Fantastic. And Hub Hall is a new food hall that's going to be opening over by TD Garden as soon as we get through this little pandemic, but soon enough.
This little thing.
Absolutely.
So let me actually start the white sauce now, because we can do both of those at the same time. And I'll just show you how to prepare them. And we're going to make what we call pepper tea. I know you didn't come into this thinking we were going to make pepper tea, but here we are. So
I'm always up for a good surprise.
All right, great. So the same thing with the ladle, 2-ounce ladle. Always great to have in your kitchen. They only cost about $3. They will last you for the rest of your life. These things last they literally have to disappear and walk off for you to lose them or break them. They literally have to just evaporate and self-combust. They will never break and never go bad. They are one of our we use it on every single station, multiple, sometimes 10 on one station. So if you haven't invested in a ladle, I know you didn't expect to talk about ladles either, but ladles are the key to great pasta making and consistent pasta making, which is the key to making pasta, right? Dig that?
Absolutely.
Okay, so I have my water. This is for ketchup pepe sauce, right? So ketchup pepe just means cheese and pepper. A classically Roman dish, new Roman dish. That just consists of a few ingredients. Some people add cream. Some people, those aren't real. Don't. They say they have cream, don't even point at it on the menu. Your finger might fall off. It's just a few ingredients, and I'm going to show you exactly how to do it. I have Parmesan cheese, but I also have Pecorino cheese. So classically, ketchup pepe is made with Pecorino cheese. Me personally, and the way it emulsifies, I like the way Parmesan emulsifies and the richness that Parmesan gives. I top it with Pecorino to keep it traditional, and to give this really nice tingy bite that goat's milk does. That sheep's milk does. But I think that Parmesan just hits better with the emulsification and the creaminess of the sauce. You also have a little salt, a little pepper, and just a dash of olive oil, and just a super small dash of lemon juice. And at MIDA, we finish ours with a little bit of lemon zest, just to brighten it up, because it is such a rich dish. So this is all you need. Water, salted water, Parmesan, Pecorino, if you have it. If you only have Parmesan, totally fine. A little olive oil, which you already have out, pepper, and salt. Very, very simple, okay? So I'm just gonna show you the sauce. We're gonna make a pepper tea, and we're gonna put it to the side, and we're gonna bring together the bucatini and the gnocchi ketchup pepe. So for the ketchup pepe sauce, all you do is for one person, right? And this is about 200 grams of gnocchi. So if you go to Trader Joe's, if you go to wherever you are, you do not have to make your own gnocchi. You can buy it from somewhere. They sell it frozen. They sell it potato gnocchi at Shaw's. Wherever you go to buy your pasta or wherever you go to shop, grab it for however many people. And for one person, for one serving, it's 1 2-ounce ladle of water. Very, very simple to remember, okay? There we go. So, and we may add a little more, right, to adjust, but you always want to start off with a base every single time so you know how to adjust. So if you are making it all the time, you're like, Douglas doesn't know what he's talking about, I use 4 ounces, then that's where you started off. But I always like to start off the same way every single time, okay? Absolutely. As for salt and pepper, I even have a ratio for this. When you season, specifically, right, not dumping it into water or not doing big batches, but small, accurate, precise seasoning, I always use the Father, Son, the Holy Ghost, right?
Okay.
Or the Mother, Son, Holy Ghost, or the Mother, Daughter, whatever you know how to do it. But I always stick with these 3 fingers for accurate seasoning and consistent. When you do the salt, it's 1 pinch, okay, with 3 fingers. That's it right there, okay? And for the pepper, I do 2, okay? So 2 pinches for the pepper, 1 pinch for the salt, a dash of olive oil, okay? Let me get my notes up real quick.
I'm usually praying whenever I cook, so this is actually a pretty good way for me to remember.
I think so. I think
Exactly.
don't mess it up, Scott. Okay? Just a pinch of lemon, right? Just a tiny, tiny bit, just to, again, just create brightness and balance. And that's it. You can add even a little knob of butter, just a small knob of butter, just to create some. That's usually what we do in the restaurant, the smallest amount. But I'm going to do that just for simplicity, right? So you can literally search a empty house that isn't even lived in and still find these ingredients and still make ketchup pepper, as long as you're bringing the Parmesan cheese and gnocchi. This doesn't cost you anything, and it's all your technique and attention. So we have our water, 2 pinches of pepper, 1 pinch of salt, pinch of lemon, pinch of olive oil. Okay, we got that? We all good?
Yes, I just wish I could smell it. Zoom needs to create a smell-o-vision option so that we can get the fragrance coming through our laptop.
Sounds like you got a business plan there.
I know, right? Scott. We've got the capital.
All right. I think you can let me in a partner on that. I'll partner with you on that one.
Yeah, please.
So now I'm just gonna bring up to a boil. Okay, and essentially, if you think about it, we're making pepper tea. It's going to bloom. It's going to absorb the pepper. The pepper is going to give off its fragrance. You're going to start to smell it, and you're definitely going to start to taste it. And it's just going to be this lovely floral, very intense aroma. But you need that for ketchup pep because you only have the 2 ingredients. That's the salt and the cheese. And This is going to be the best cheese sauce you've ever made. So I usually bring it up to a boil, much like I do the red sauce or any sauce, to bring all the flavors together, to bring everything. And I don't want to let it boil forever. I just want to bring it up, okay, where the whole liquid boils, right? All right, lovely. It only takes a second. The liquid will look like it starts to turn brown, just like a tinge, okay? And then I turn it off. Boom, done. So now I am on the cusp of having 2 of my most favorite and ultimate flavor profile, both in texture, both in consistency, in sauce work. And they're extremely easy, and you barely did any work, and you barely spent any money, and you're about to make the best pasta, hopefully, of your life, no matter the pasta or experience you have. Are you ready for this?
Absolutely. Lay it on me.
Okay. So I'm actually gonna do the bucatini amatriciana first, because the gnocchi cacio pepe is something that needs to be eaten immediately. It is not a thing you serve in a big thing and let people talk for 20 more minutes and then they get to it when they get to it. When people don't eat it right away in the restaurant and they taking the pictures for 10 minutes, I'm like, that thing is going to be cold. It's going to be one big pancake of a gnocchi. So you have to attack this right away. It's made with so much love and so much attention that it's so simple. You actually need to get it right away. So I'm going to wait to do the ketchup pepe until the bucatini is plated. All right. So I got my blanched noodles over here, and you can imagine. So imagine all this is done. The sauce is ready, the pot is boiling, or say your pasta is blanched. Actually, I'm going to take this off because I don't need it. What am I doing? Okay. I only need it if I want to add a little bit of water, but the thing you can do with that is you can get one of those canisters you have. And I honestly, after I cook pasta or blanch pasta, I always take it and I keep quarts of pasta water if I need it, or if I want it, or 1 quart of pasta water in my fridge. Oh. And then I always have it. Say I don't want to do the whole thing, or I have some, gnocchis, or I have some blanched pasta already, and I don't want to have this. I don't want to get another big pot of water on. I just hold on to pasta water, and then you can always use that to finish your sauces because you want that for starch and salinity. So I keep that to the side. So what I'm gonna do, okay? I think I added water to this. I'm gonna add a little more since it was sitting. Okay, just dilute a bit. Again, if it comes to a boil and you find it's too thick, you can always add more water, right? So all I did, this is 4 ounces of sauce, right? And I'd say about 3 ounces of water. I added a little bit more because I let it sit a bit, but if I was doing it right away, 2 ounces would have been perfectly fine. So I'm gonna let it come to a full boil, right? Any questions on this, Scott? I'm not being too confusing, am I?
No, this is fantastic. I love that you're laying it out so straightforwardly. This is mercifully easy for folks to follow along with, which is not something you always get from a lot of cooking demos. So
oh, good, good. I just want it. There is no magic. There's no secret. It's just passion and timing and attention. And I'm not taking pictures of it. I'm not doing no thing. You want to just focus. And this is where you are. This is no phone can ring. Everything's happening outside. This is your world right now. So now, once it comes to a full boil, I add my pasta. This is precisely also how we do it in the restaurant. There is no difference to how we do it in the restaurant. other than there's maybe 8 more pastas cooking at the same exact time. But that's kind of no big deal. Talking to you makes me more nervous. So, this is cool. Okay, so all I'm doing right now is just trying to coat it. So when you think, the reason also for dilution is not just, because I said so, right? You want to actually boil the noodle, or what we call finish the noodle, in the sauce. And the only way to do that, because obviously the noodle is absorbing liquid and it's sucking all the water away in addition to evaporation, you want the noodle to absorb the pasta sauce, right? You want it to absorb the sauce and absorb the flavor and absorb the salt and absorb the pepper and absorb the tomato. So your noodles, actually, when you come to MIDA and you get this dish, the noodles are pretty red, right? It's not red because you coated it with sauce. It looks red because it is red, right? It's actually absorbed the tomato, the color, the chlorophyll, all the things that it gets from the sun, all the changes. And now your pasta and your sauce are one. This moment right here, before we're even done, is what separates amateur pasta from restaurant pasta, right? This is the moment that separates it. When you say, oh, that's cooked enough, it's done, it's actually not. You want to make sure that all that pasta lives within, around, and on the noodle, like a blanket, right? Nobody lays on top of their blanket, you lay under your blanket. And that's how you kind of want to picture the pasta. And Scott, if you lay on top of your blanket, we can't be friends anymore. Just so you know.
I'm a one leg out kind of guy. Most of me in, but I just want a little breeze on the foot. That's my.
As long as you're a one sock off, one sock on type of guy, then we can.
We're still cool.
I heart you. Okay.
You have the best metaphors, by the way. You always give the best analogies whenever you're talking about cooking. I love it.
Oh, good. So now I appreciate you saying that. I'm gonna write that in my book. So now you can see. So now the pasta it's not as stiff anymore, right? It's still al dente, but it's not stiff anymore. And what it's done is become homogeneous with the sauce. You can see the pepper. You can see everything. You can notice that it kind of relaxed a bit. And what you now want is to make traditional amatriciana sauce. You have to finish it with a fat, either bacon fat, guanciale fat. But in this case, and to keep it vegetarian, if you want to do it with just tomato sauce, you finish it with olive oil. You want to have this extreme sheen. You want to have this cocoon-like look to it. So what I'm going to do is just keep tossing it, and I'm just going to pick it up off the heat, right? And just just about a teaspoon of olive oil, right? And now it has this lovely, lovely, lovely sheen to it. I'm just going to put it here, turn my heat off. There's nothing to this, okay? Okay? And if you can't toss like me, just keep stirring it. Just try. Right? You'll never learn how to toss unless you try and make a little bit of a mess. Okay, and you just carefully plate it. Okay. And if someone thinks that portion is too small, you'll notice quickly after a second bite that it hits you like a bag of bricks, that this is not your ordinary sauce, that is not your ordinary technique. Most of the sauce has absorbed into the noodle. Most of the richness absorbs into the noodle. So it's deceiving. And when people come to the restaurant, they're like, oh, this pasta may be smaller, maybe this, or I can eat twice this. But then they get the third bite and they're like, whoa, this is more than just how much I can consume. This is about the flavor. This is about the experience. This is about what my tongue is doing. This is about what my heart is saying now. This is how my forehead is starting to sweat. This is about so much more than just how much you can ingest, but really about what it does to you and where it transports you to, especially if you just came back from Italy, which no one has, but unless it was 2 years ago, but everyone has, had this experience, and I think it changes you. So now, what to do? We are not done yet for the restaurant experience. So what you do is you grab your olive oil, again, even if it's the gnocchi or bucatini or wagon wheels, okay? You finish one more time with just a little bit of olive oil, boom. All of our pastas get finished with olive oil. Traditionally, bucatini alla matriciana gets finished with pecorino again. Pecorino is a great cheese to have in the shop. All you do is ask for it. This is pecorino romano. Having pecorino and parmesan, taste them side by side, or ask for it in the shop side by side, and you'll see the difference. It's just a beautiful, beautiful contrast of cheese, and you'll want to have them both in your house. So then I just take it, finish it, and that is exactly how we do it at the restaurant. There is no difference, and you can do that at home. I don't think you can bucket that. I think that is
beautiful,
absolutely lovely.
Absolutely, and I want to let people know too that you've been doing a really great sort of not exactly all you can eat because we can't really do that right now via takeout, but a sampling of different pastas for folks that they can enjoy all different kinds of things that you're doing there.
Say it is a full size sampling, which I don't know the word for that. I don't know it's not sampling, but it is essentially a buffet of pasta at home or in the restaurant. You get 5 full size portions of pasta, our eggplant parmesan, or even our lasagna for $70 for 2 people. And it is just a massive deal, plus salad, plus bread. It is an unreal deal. I think it's the best deal in the city. It travels well. It holds up well. You can also order focaccia on the side if you want. You can also get escargot greens and order gelato to go. Just a phenomenal thing. Actually, I do need my water. Holy Scott, how come you didn't remind me?
Oh, I'm slacking. I'm sleeping on the job.
Good thing I didn't pour it out.
I was too busy dreaming of pasta.
You sure are.
Speaking of the gelato, too, also I want people to know that gelato, when they have their taste passport, they can pick up some gelato at MIDA with purchase, right?
Yeah, I think it comes free in the pack if you order during that time. If you use the taste code, and you get gelato. We have blood orange gelato right now, pistachio, chocolate, olive oil, sweet cream, wild berry, the whole 9.
I love that.
Yeah, super mondo. I'm very excited for that and support this. So as far as gnocchi, right? When we make our gnocchi, we make ricotta gnocchi. We do not make potato gnocchi. I think ricotta gnocchi is a far superb texturally, richness, all the things that people love about gnocchi. Ricotta gnocchi offers. I learned to make it at Copa when they first opened in 2009. If anybody even remembers that back that far. And they were just, it was just a great time. And I said, I want to do this much more simply. It was with sauce. It was with this. I think it was with chicken or something. But this is the most extreme expression of gnocchi and ketchup pepe. And I thought it'd be great to combine that. So I did it at MIDA. I actually keep my gnocchi once I make them. I take them, I put them into big bins, I freeze them, and then I portion them. So they portion easily so we can have them on the line and we can just grab them as we desire. And they honestly stay so great in the freezer, and you can portion them for yourself. I actually have them here, pull them out. Okay. And these are 200-gram portions. This is usually how I portion it for one person, for one diner. And I have these little plastic bags. You use Ziploc bags, you use sandwich bags. But this is how I do it. And it just keeps it easy, always in the freezer. It's loose. I throw it in the water, ready to go. Okay.
Fantastic. Are you selling your pasta as well?
We are selling our pasta. We're selling by the 3/4 pound. So it's about 5 portions. You can keep it, again, in the freezer indefinitely. You can get the gnocchi, you get the bucatini, all the pastas we sell. And if we don't see us selling it, just ask for it and we'll put it together for you. And it, just to be able to, you can eat it fresh that night. Like I said, you can freeze it and it holds indefinitely and pull it out anytime, right into water. No need to defrost or do anything. Right in the water, takes 3 minutes in the sauce. Boom, done. Super great.
Amazing.
Okay, so I have my water still hot. The great thing about gnocchi is not actually pasta, right? It's a dumpling. So it doesn't have to follow the same rules as pasta. You can actually put it into water that's not actually boiling and it'll still work just as fine. And sometimes even better. So I have my pasta water here. It's not completely boiling because I put it in the sink, but we can still do it, and I'll show you just for time's sake.
Beautiful.
Okay, so now I have here is my ketchup pepe tea, right, that we made before with our pepper, our olive oil, salt, a splash of lemon juice, and pasta water. So I have my pasta water here. I'm just going to add my gnocchi into the pot. Okay. Again, this is 200 grams. Okay. Which is about 6.5 ounces or so. Okay.
Okay.
About 6.5 to 7 ounces, but that's a perfect amount for a dish. I'm just going to grab a plate. So when I'm all ready, again, I told you about the timing of ketchup pepe. You want to make sure that you eat it immediately. It's almost like carbonara or other things that really just solidify as you eat them. You want to make sure you get to them right away. That is the best moment, and you want to devour it within 3 minutes. It just is an excellent thing. But we do it to go. And I was going to say, if you do gnocchi to go or any pasta to go, the way you do it, to heat up pasta in the microwave. I think that microwave is actually superb over a pan to reheat pasta. So what you do is you take the container that's in, or some sort of lidded container that's somewhat flat. You add about, I say an ounce of water, maybe 2 tablespoons. Shake it up a little bit, crack the lid, put it in the microwave, put it on for about 2 minutes, and press the power, before you press the power level button and put it to half power, 50% power. That way it doesn't overcook the noodle. It just brightens it up, heats it without overcooking or doing anything weird and changing the molecules. And then halfway in between it, shake it up just to make sure everything's kind of mixed, and finish the rest of the minute. And it will and same thing for steak, chicken, fish, especially fish. It heats up fish phenomenally when you put it 50% to 40% power. So that's the way I would suggest to heat it up again.
Really good tip.
Okay.
This is fantastic because, like I said before, it's showing folks how you can execute things really simply, but just a little bit of sophistication and style to how you bring it alive. It makes all the difference.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, when people wonder how we do things, it's really just how much attention we're paying, right? Our minds are 150% on the food that we're making, and they're completely absorbed with making sure that the experience for the customer and for the guests, even people that we don't see, obviously now because there's so much takeout, that we make sure that we're trying to serve optimal product, but all of our attention is right here. There is no distraction. And, when you can do that, when you can replicate that, not just the food or or an organic sauce or an organic flour, a special this, a special that all matters. But it also matters, you can't mess it up and trip just before the finish line. You want to make sure you have your mise en place, your setup, and all the things that you need. So that's what we want to do here. So with the gnocchi, okay, if anybody doesn't know how to cook gnocchi, if you look at the back of the package on a gnocchi, it's really just when it floats. When gnocchi floats, it's done. As they start to kind of climb the ladder to the top of the water, that's when you want to get ready to pull it out. So, okay. Also, too, as they start to float, you have about 1 minute for that to happen, 2 minutes that they can stay, or it'll start to get really big in size. So I'm going to actually turn on my heat on my pan. When we add pasta to a pan, we always add it when the pasta sauce is boiling. So you want to try to time that if you can. If you can't, totally fine. But we always, when the pasta starts to come up, when it's done, the pasta sauce, either ketchup, pepe, or white sauce, or Alfredo, or whatever you do, should be boiling at the same time. It just helps complete with just being expeditious and fast, and doesn't allow your pasta to overcook while waiting for the pan to heat up. Do you get that what I mean?
Absolutely. Definitely.
Okay. So I think it was sitting about, the ketchup pepe sauce was sitting in the pan a bit. So I'm just going to add a little bit more water, about 1 more ounce. Okay. And while it comes to a boil, obviously it's only 2 ounces of liquid, so it comes to a boil quite quickly. Okay. Okay. And also too, these little spiders, these only cost $3 at in Chinatown or some warehouse, commercial restaurant warehouse. You can buy these and they will last for almost ever. They start to get a little wonky in a few years, but honestly, they last super well. You put them in the dishwasher, and they come right in handy for everything that you're cooking. So I definitely suggest having one of these little spiders. Okay, so water's boiling. Okay, very important part. I just want everybody to watch here. So water is boiling in my saucepan. I'm going to take my gnocchis out. Okay, add them to the pan. And again, if you're using a bigger pan than this to cook for one person, we're using too big of a pan. This should be the absolute max for cooking for one person. And because it's so big, it actually is evaporating the water more quickly than I like. So I'm just going to add a little more water. Again, I can keep adding water to this back and forth. The only thing that's going to change is the cook on the pasta, right? So if you mess up or you're practicing, you're trying to mess with this dilution technique, which I think makes an optimal product, then all you do is just keep adding water, just water evaporating. That's all I want everybody to keep in their minds. Is don't overthink it, or get scared. And worst case scenario, if it's getting out of control and it's boiling so fast, just pull it off. Think about what you have here. Look at what you have. Pay attention, and let the heat keep going. Just look at what you have. See how much water. I think about a quarter of the pan. When you tilt the pan over, right, as much as you can tilt it over, and you're just about a halfway amount of liquid, right?
Yeah.
You see that? It's just under, well, that's 40%, would you say?
Yeah.
If you can tell that, that's where you want to be with the liquid. That's a good way to gauge, because it's really hard to gauge when it's flat. It's not really covering the entire pan as far as liquid is concerned, but it's about 40%. And now it's going, yeah, you can see what I mean. That's a good way to gauge. But as you practice this, as you attempt this, you will know how much liquid you want to have in this pan. Okay. You really can't have too much. You can have too much, but you just want to try to be in a good realm to where you're not having a soup, but you're not having something that's dry, right? So now, very important part. I take my Parmesan, get it right here, right? I'm not seasoning anything else. All I'm doing is my Parmesan here and my pan here. Once it's at a full boil, turn it off. Okay? I grab a nice handful. I'm going to add 2 to 3 handfuls of this. And I'm going to take it, I'm going to sprinkle it from above. Okay? This is kind of like chewing gum and rubbing your belly at the same time. Okay?
Never could do that, but I could try this.
Never quite, but now you're spot, because you got 3 people looking at you that are starving. When all this crap you were talking about making ketchup pepe, and it's time to come through. Okay? So now all I'm doing is emulsify. Remember, the heat is off. I'm grabbing it with 2 hands. I have my towel here. There's no there's nothing else around, right? If I feel like it's too thick, what do? I just add a little bit of water. Okay? Right. Not a big deal. Swirl it around again. It'll re-emulsify. And now I have what we consider ketchup pepe. Okay? Very simple emulsification. I'm going to bring this over here. Okay? Right? Okay?
Gorgeous. Look at those views.
Okay. I always plate with a spoon to make sure I get all the sauce. Okay. Beautiful. And now, what do I finish with, Scott? What's the one ingredient I always finish with?
I want to finish with some of your focaccia is what I want to finish with.
Okay, but yes. I knew you were on the payroll for a reason. I knew you were there. I knew you were there for me. So I always finish with olive oil, no matter what. Okay, just a little bit of olive oil back and forth. I don't like to get it all over the plate. I just like it to live on the pasta, because that's what's important. Otherwise, it looks oily. If you get it on the outside rim of it, it just looks like it's seeping oil. But when it's on the interior, it doesn't have that same appearance. Some places in Rome that I've read, and some places that I've seen, serve a little pepper on a little dish on the side as to add. But I actually just like to try to make it as consistent as possible every time. So what I'm going to do is just add a little bit of lemon zest, just a tad, just a bop, just a tiny touch, just to let those oils come out, so you can smell it when it hits your table, and you smell that freshness. You know it's not all just cheese and cream and heaviness and richness. So now I take my pecorino and I just top it, just like that. I wish you could have this right now, Scott. You would lose your mind.
I need a bib. I'm drooling over here.
Okay, and that's it. And then we have our ketchup pepe and our bucatini. Very simple things to do, but just take a little bit of attention. Not a lot of time. I think if I wasn't doing both of these, we can do this in a few minutes without much headache and without much problem. But it's really just about paying attention to what you're doing. So.
Absolutely. Fantastic. You have actually inspired me, the person who is a professional eater but never wants to actually cook for himself. You've actually inspired me to get back into the kitchen one of these days.
Oh, good. I'm glad to hear that. That's what it should be.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for walking us through that. Super helpful. So many great tips. Learned a ton about how to do this and also about the restaurant. Before you've given us a ton of time, but I also want to check in real quickly, because I know that you also have something new coming down the pipeline in Newton. We talked about a pizza, which will be coming to Hub Hall, but you've got another restaurant opening soon as well. And I wanted to chat about that for a minute.
I do. Newton is bringing some exciting things. So we're actually opening a MIDA in Newton, and it's going to be double the size. It's going to have open air, very similar in its DNA, right? As far as beautiful lighting, and everyone knows that has a glow to it. It's not harsh light. It's just this beautiful, lovely aura to it. Lots of windows. This time we're going to have some open air windows to where we can open them up and have this just beautiful, lovely spring air that will come sooner than later. And a huge patio, about 40 seats on the patio as opposed to our 15 to 18. Open kitchen. We're going to serve pizza. New Haven style pizza. We're going to have expanded pasta, expanded steak menu, chicken, fish, vegetarian, antipasti, It's going to be bananas. Oh, and I'm getting this huge Italian gelato machine, so I can make this a proper gelato, proper Sicilian gelato in the restaurant and do all of my lovely flavors, but in a more heightened way. So it's just going to be unreal. I can't wait.
Fantastic. Well, listen, again, thank you so much for all this. Super helpful. And thank you to all our viewers for joining us tonight. We hope to see you again tomorrow for a night with Maker's Mark, where we'll be turning the reins over to Maker's Mark for an exciting evening dedicated to whiskey. There'll be a Bourbon 101 featuring Maker's Mark and Maker's Mark 46 with Tim Hustler, American Whiskey Ambassador for Beam Suntory. And then Brian McDougall, head bartender at Lookout Rooftop and Bar, will teach us the proper technique for a delicious, full-flavored bourbon cocktail. I love a bourbon cocktail. You'll see me drinking them. I know you will too. So if you're following along, interested in following along, there is still time to pick up some Maker's Mark from your local liquor store or order your bottles through Drizzly and follow along and drink along with us. Thank you, Douglas. Thank you to all the viewers, and have a great pasta-filled night. See you later.